All right. I do have to apply credit where credit is due. And to be very honest, COSM has been experiencing some pretty nice price action over the last couple days. I think I do have some metrics that would pique your interest here because we could see a continuation to the upside in the coming sessions. Let's review now, team. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with the COSM technicals and raw price action thread of analysis on this Taco Tuesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community and Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, team, so let's go ahead and notice here that COSM has been facing some pretty volatile days in the last couple days, making a move here of almost 40%. I think it was, let's just measure it. Right, so this day here, marking off that bottom at that 111 top, we made a move of about 46.87% to the upside. This is actually flashing volatility towards the upside, and momentum has shifted itself as well. Okay, so it's very curious that we are coming to this bounce here based on this huge reaccumulation formation, which is called a descending broadening wedge. Okay, now, first of all, I want to experiment something with you before we get into the ARQ indicators. Okay, so let's take a notice here. Let me see. Since we are able to see this bounce from this zone here, it's only making me curious to see if maybe we can adjust that trend line there and see if it's correct in the first place, right? So we made a conscious decision here, an educated choice by suggesting that this would be a test and this would be a test, right? Those were our essential contact points. So now let's go ahead and see if we can bring this down to favor this bottom side as a support and see what kind of connections we have looking back, right? So let's go ahead and see that now. Okay, immediately we can see that we're now touching this support here. Okay, and actually there are several other areas that we can look at as a potential support grab right over here too. Right, lots of support touches here, resistance, right? We have a very nice resistance touch there, support touch right there with this candle. Okay, enormous amount of resistance found over here, right? As soon as we actually broke out of it, we came right back in, tested the resistance again, and tested the support, right? You can see that it is pretty much suggestive that it could be a line for us to consider, even still, right? So if that is the bottom side, this would essentially be a retest of the support, or we can consider it a retest of the newly converted resistance into now a support. Right, so that is a newly converted support, right, from a resistance. Okay, team. So if that's the case, then this is only understandable as to why this bounce could have happened. Please remember that this is a macro scale formation, so we're just gonna have to kind of keep an eye on this as we move. Another thing here to notice is, okay, you see the price action here on this candle, right, from just a couple days ago. Yesterday, right? So this went up to a high of about 163. So let's go ahead and just mark off that top side of 163, and let's just make this a little bit thinner too, so that we can gain some visibility here. Okay, so now if we take a look to the left here, you can see that 163 was paired very nicely with the 169 bottom here. Right, so this 169 bottom just so happens to be the lowest area that COSM had reached in this period, right? That would be the all-time low. So the resistance that we're facing today, average to take profit at 163, because of course I usually say this when we practice our analysis. We never want to take our position exit right at the dollar value. We want to try to execute a little bit earlier so that we can make sure that we can acquire some of those gains, right? That is just common practice here, team. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. If this is in fact the test 5 breakout and retest, then this is looking positive very soon, team. Okay, so let's go ahead and now pull up the ARQ algo, and this is going to be the enhanced MACD. Okay, so on the daily time frame, of course, we're not reflecting any extended hours trading within the daily time frame, right? And you can already see that the volatility, which is represented by this cloud here, is starting to tighten up, right? You can see it tightening up right here. And it's also starting the curve. Momentum itself is also starting to show an upside pivot here. So if we move down one time frame and see if this is going to give us a bull signal, then it may just do that. Okay, but take a look at this signal here. We got a bear signal literally at the opening of this candle here, which was about, let's see, $3.03. This is where the bear signal fired, and bam, it has not given us a bull signal since. But let's take a look at the 12-hour time frame to see if that can be a little different. So check it out, team. In fact, it is. We already have a bull signal printed right down here. It actually printed at the very bottom here, which is the low of about 117, very close to the 111. And that is now suggesting a continuation to the upside. And you can also notice that volatility is starting to expand, right? These are the clouds right here. They're starting to expand from each other. Another significant signal would be the fact that you can see all of the little dots, right? Please notice how the dots are tightening up. They're wide here, right? They're wide, tightening. It's really tight. And then as the volatility starts to expand, then you start to notice that the dots are starting to separate from each other. That's indicative of expansion, okay? And that is usually indicative of an upside continuation, especially when momentum is suggesting an upside with expansion, right? So that is looking massively bullish for this asset, okay, team? Let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next chart here, okay, team? So this was the negative volume index that we were looking at just a few sessions ago last week, and we were noticing that we were already making the negative volume pitch upside of the moving average, which is usually indicative of a potential reversal coming in. This is what I said in the last video that we printed. One more thing to notice here is that we do have, in essence here, we have an immediate short-term reaccumulation formation itself. So this is also telling us that there could be potential reversal coming in. This is a broadening descending wedge on the, let's see if we can get that line absolutely connected here, right? We're going to try to make it the best as best as we can for this formation, okay? So yeah, you can see here that this is pretty much almost completed. Very impressive times here. Okay, team. So yeah, it's looking like we definitely are just about at that completion. We have test number 1, 2, 3, capitulation event, and this is true breakout number 4. This is essentially still validating the support touch of the newly converted what was a resistance into support, right? So this is looking pretty good. This is just a tiny version of what we were looking at back here as a macro version, right, team? So this is the little wedge down here, right? And this is the macro wedge that we're looking at, right? It would of course print a little tiny baby one right here from the master one, right? So this is looking pretty nice, team. Let's go ahead and now acknowledge the potential upside thrust based on this formation. This is usually when we're looking at the playbook rules or the traditional trade parameters for this type of formation called a descending broadening wedge. The take profit is usually located at the genesis of the formation itself. So let's color this white. Let's make this just ever so slightly different, right? So this would be the take profit area for this formation. It would lead us to about $1.98. Okay, team. So that's I'm not saying that we're going there. I'm just telling you that is how it's traded generally. Okay, so since we did acquire the insight of the formation here, there could be an opportunity here to get long this asset at around $1.30, and we are speaking about the we are speaking about, where is it? The trading panel right here. We are talking about the paper trading, right? So let's make sure to keep that connected so that we can simulate the trades that could happen. All right, team. So yeah, there could be a pullback here to the area of about 130, potentially get long here after validating this newly converted support, and then continue onwards and upwards, right, team? So that's looking not bad. Let's go ahead and move on to see if we can validate this. First of all, team, it looks like now COSM is starting to be a little more reactive to the Russell 2000. So what I have here for us is actually the Russell, the E-mini, Russell 2000 Index Futures and also the iShares Russell 2000 ETF. This is spot price action versus futures, right, team? So what we're looking at here is that we definitely have a huge upside here. We have a massive upside hammer candle here, and you can see that it's also representing a similar candle, all of them within the daily time frame, right? So very, very nice that COSM is finally in accordance or getting close to agreeing with the index, right? So that's I like it. One more signal that can be giving us an upside continuation, team, is this. Please notice that this is the divergence chart. We are looking at what divergence is actually the opposition of price action versus momentum. In this case, momentum represented by the RSI, relative strength index. Okay, team. So whenever you are noticing that you are making a series of higher lows in the momentum oscillator paired with lower lows on the price action, that gives us a variety of hidden bullish divergence. Okay, team. So I'm sorry, regular bullish divergence. So this is when we're creating the higher lows, right over here, the higher lows, and we have the price action creating lower lows, right? Just right over here, lower lows on the price action gives you regular bullish divergence. This is up for you so that you can understand what divergences are and what varieties there can be. Okay, team, so that's already validated, and it looks like the RSI signal is suggesting an upside. We have the SMA 14 represented by the pink line also suggesting an upside. Not only that, is that the RSI signal is very much on its way to the gravitational zone of the bear strength percentile, which would essentially pressure us to the upside and continuing on. Okay, so that's not bad whatsoever, team. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and pull back over here to see the rest of the time frames. And I want to start this off with the 30-minute immediate short term, right, team? So please take a look at here that we are facing a little bit of downside pressure, just like we expected, just like we said just a few minutes ago, right? The bi-hourly time frame suggesting the same thing as well. But in this case, it looks like it's temporary. We have that SMA 14 approaching the RSI signal itself. This could be indicative of a short-term downside followed by a continuation to the upside. Okay, so I'm definitely liking that the immediate short terms are already suggesting that high probability. Okay, team. So now we want to go ahead and now notice the let's see. This is going to be the 4-hour time frame consolidation upside pivot on the SMA 14. Nice. Let's see. The 8-hour time frame is already suggesting an upside continuation with the SMA 14 pivoted towards the upside too. 12-hour and daily are still showing some consolidation. As we move up to the 3-day time frame, it's showing a little bit of an upside pivot in the gravitational zone of the oversold percentile, likely to find its way up soonish. But overall, the consolidation is due because we did find our resistance at a key resistance level, right? Being this macro low at 169. Okay, team. So we are going to have to do some combating here. There could be a short-term downside. Like I said, potential lowest area that I'm looking at. It may not actually reach it, but the lowest zone that I'm speaking of here could be 130. And then we would actually observe what the upside can look like after that. Okay, team. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot, and I repeat, I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Okay, team, I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.